Okay, let's get started with the cardiovascular and respiratory lab. I'm going to show you some structures. So, first one I want to show you for the external part of your heart, we have the pulmonary trunk right here. So here's your pulmonary trunk, and then posterior to that you would have your aorta. So this is the aorta right here. And then if you flip it on the back here, posterior side, we will have the let me get my finger in here. So this right here, where my finger is, this right here is your superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. Okay, so remember, we have the superior and inferior vena cava right there. Okay, so what is this? Pulmonary trunk. This is your aorta, and this back here, vena cava. Now right in here would be your coronary sinus. Okay, let's flip this around. We have a structure right here. This is your left auricle. This is your left auricle. Looks like a dog's ear. It's going to cover up the left atrium. Right here, we have this structure here, which is the coronary sulcus. We have this on the other side. This would be the right auricle right here, and then you would have the coronary sulcus here. Okay, let's move on. Right here now we have a groove here going down right through here. So you have your coronary arteries. Your left one is right here, and then your right one would be right here. Well, somewhere right in here. So the coronary arteries are coming off your aorta. Okay? So you have the branches of your coronary arteries. So they're going to be running along this coronary sulcus here for your left side, as well as the right side, and also going down the margin here. We have this important structure here. This is your anterior interventricular sulcus, your anterior interventricular sulcus, and that's going to be where you have your anterior interventricular branch of your left coronary artery running right down through here. And then this right here, you have your circumflex branch of your left coronary artery. This is your apex of heart. So you have your auricles here, and on the other side you have your ventricles here and here. And then let's see if we touch bases everything. So it's not shown on here, but the pulmonary trunk is going to branch into the pulmonary arteries, and the pulmonary veins, it's not shown here, but you can see where the pulmonary veins are going to come into the left atrium here, carrying oxygenated blood. So remember, pulmonary trunk, deoxygenated blood, CO2 rich blood, and then your pulmonary veins are carrying oxygenated blood back to the heart from the lungs. So I've said that several times in lecture. So pulmonary arteries, deoxygenated blood coming from the right side of the heart, and pulmonary veins are going to be carrying blood to your left side of your heart, where it's oxygenated blood, and then of course that oxygenated blood is going to go out the aorta. Okay, let's move on to the internal heart now. So the internal heart, as we see here, let's just do this one here. So here's your internal heart. So the left side of the heart is always bigger than the right side when you open it up. So we have this structure here. This right here is your dog ear or your auricle, your left auricle. These holes here are your coronary arteries or your branches. And if you put the probe in this hole here, you can see it sort of coming out right. Let me put it in here. You can see it coming out right there, going down your anterior interventricular sulcus. That anterior interventricular branch of your left coronary artery. So, right here, we have the ventricle, left side, ventricle, right side. Right here, you can see the cusp of the bicuspid valve or mitral valve. You can see the chordae tendineae right here. And then you can see the papillary muscles. So the chordae tendineae look like guitar strings or guy wires, and they're going to connect the cusp of either the bicuspid. This is the bicuspid valve right here. These are chordae tendineae, papillary muscles. And then right here, you would have your trabeculae carneae, anterior interventricular septum. They must never be a hole here. I repeat that again. There must never be a hole there. Now, when you have birth defects, sometimes there's a hole there. And this allows oxygenated blood to be mixed with deoxygenated blood. That's not good. That can cause hyperplasia. That can cause, which can lead to irregular heartbeat, which can lead to, various heart problems. So blood must not mix. Okay. I want to talk about some more things here. Let's do the aortic valve here. So here's the aortic valve. Now, right here, we see the, let me get the light here, pulmonary trunk. And I've cut right through here, and you can see the pulmonary valve here. Let's see if I can find it on another one. So, we have, I need to show you this. I'm going to find it on another heart. But associated with the atria, you have the pectinate muscles. So what I'm pointing to with my camera are the pectinate muscles. Right here, remember, that's the bicuspid valve. And then chordae tendineae is right here, apex of heart. And let's see if there's something else I can find for you. Okay, right here, on this heart, you can see the tricuspid valve, which I've cut through here, which I've cut through the atrium here. Through the right atrium, you can see the tricuspid valve, as we see here, and you can see the pectinate muscles here. And then you can see the trabeculae carneae here, and then the chordae tendineae. Okay. And let's see if there's anything else here. Right here, that shows you the aortic valve. And let's see if there's anything else. Oh yes, we got some more things. We have the epicardium right here, myocardium, endocardium. Epi, myocardium, endocardium. So epicardium is very thin, Myo is just a thick, very thick muscle layer. And then your endocardium right there. And I think we're done here. So let's move on to the next thing here. Okay, so this right here is your pericardium. This right here is your auricle right here. This right here is your ventricle, right side, and then your left ventricle right here. And then right here you can see the pulmonary trunk right here. So if you look at the pulmonary trunk right here, so here's your pulmonary trunk, right? Let me stick my probe through there. So here's your pulmonary trunk, and this structure here is the pulmonary artery. Okay, right behind it we have the aorta. This is the ascending aorta right here, and then you have your descending aorta. Remember that this structure here that my thumb is on, well, come on, yeah, there it is. That is the aortic arch. That is the aortic arch. Okay, this blue structure, what is it? Oh, excuse me. This is your superior vena cava, and then this structure here is your inferior vena cava. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Inferior vena cava. This right here is a vagus nerve right here. Now we have the brachiocephalic trunk, the first branch coming off of the aorta or the aortic arch, and then it's going to fork, and we'll see that it's going to fork off into the right subclavian artery, and then we see these other two branches right here. That's your common carotid arteries. These two here. And then you can see the common carotid arteries here and here. You can see the jugular vein here, right, and then left jugular vein. And then you can see the left subclavian artery right here. Left subclavian artery. And we can see that it's going to go into the axillary and then the brachial, as we see here. And then we can see, let's see, can't find it on that side. Might need to go to another cat. Yeah, right here. Again, sorry about switching cats on you. We have the brachial artery right here, and then we have this artery right here, right beside the vein. These two are called the subscapular artery, is red, and then the vein, I can get, yeah, and the vein is right there. Okay, now let's move on to the next thing here. So we have the superior vena cava. It's going to fork into your brachiocephalic veins here and here. And then you can see that it's going to fork again, subclavian vein, and then it's no good over there. So subclavian vein, jugular vein here. So your left and your right, and your transverse jugular right here, and then your anterior facial vein and posterior facial vein. And we can see again, we'll review again, brachiocephalic vein, subclavian vein, and then the I think I messed that up. So brachiocephalic vein, subclavian vein, axillary vein, brachial vein right next to the brachial artery, as we see here, and that's the subscapular vein right there. Okay, now this structure right here, it's been broken. That's the azygos right there, and let's see if we can find it intact on another cat. So right here, right next to this lung here, this apical lung, you have the internal mammary artery or internal thoracic artery, and then you have your azygos vein right beside of it. And then we have this right here. You see that? Well, you see that structure there where my finger's pointing? That's the hemiozygos vein. And then you have your intercostal muscles all right in here. Okay? And then you can see intercostal arteries right there where the probe's at. Descending aorta here. And then you have the diaphragm right here. And then you have the, let me find a better one here. Well, still not perfect, but you can pretty much see what I've just mentioned. Your diaphragm again, your spleen, and then you can see the descending or thoracic aorta. You see this first branch here. Let's go to another cat. Okay, it's better here. So right here you have the celiac trunk. This is your gastrosplenic artery right there, right here. This is the stomach, and then the spleen, hence the name gastrosplenic. And right beside of it, it's not shown very well on this one. Well, there's a little bit of yellow. You would see the gastrosplenic vein. This one right here is your superior mesenteric artery. And then your inferior mesenteric, sorry about this, having sort of a difficulty problem here. Let's go on to another one here. Here's one that's clear. So this would be your inferior mesenteric artery, and this shows it pretty good. We'll just show this again. So right here we see the celiac trunk, gastrosplenic artery right there, and then your superior mesenteric artery, and then renal artery, and then renal vein, kidney. This right here, it would be the inferior vena cava. Okay, and latex sort of busted there. We'll switch. So anyway, we have the gastrosplenic artery. Yellow would be the gastrosplenic vein. Superior mesenteric vein here. Superior mesenteric artery. Celiac trunk again. Sorry. We'll just start all over. Celiac trunk. This right here is your gastrosplenic artery. This right here is your gastrosplenic vein. Superior mesenteric vein here. This is your superior mesenteric artery again. Renal vein and renal artery. Kidney. Notice, as I said before in lecture, this is your abdominal aorta right here. This right here would be the inferior vena cava. Okay, and I want to show you some stuff here. Okay, we have the lumbar artery right there coming off of the abdominal aorta. Okay, what is this? Remember, this is your inferior mesenteric artery, and it doesn't show on this one, but in this area here, this is your descending colon, or sigmoid colon going down. This would be, in this area here, would be where you find your inferior mesenteric vein. Okay, now these right here are pretty simple, and I have them in your PowerPoint. So you have your common iliac artery, external iliac artery, femoral artery. This right here is your, well, let's just do this. This is your internal iliac, and then your caudal artery and vein. So just repeat those again. Common iliac, external iliac, femoral artery, internal iliac, come on, right here, caudal artery, and then we have the same thing for the veins. Common iliac vein, external iliac vein, and femoral vein, and caudal vein, and I think that's it for that. And this again shows you, I think I've already said this, but just repeat it again. Gastrosplenic vein, superior mesenteric vein. Okay. I think I haven't went over this here. Okay, right here, I opened up the heart, and you can see on the right side is a deoxygenated blood, or CO2 blood, denoted by the blue latex. On the left side, oxygenated blood, which is represented by the red latex or pink latex. Okay, now you have your intercostal muscles here, and then you have the apical lobe on the left side, and then you have your cardiac lobe on your left side, and then your diaphragmatic lobe right there. Diaphragm, intercostals. On the right side you have the same thing. So apical, cardiac, and the diaphragmatic. Okay, and let's see if there's anything else here. I think that is it. That's all I'm going to show you. Now, in lab, I've already shown you the primary bronchi. So this is your trachea right here. And then right here is your nares. Okay. And I'm going to call it quits there.